Everybody, Cinema Sickness here with your daily sickness video, and as always, hope you guys are having a fantastic day. And I love having that now in the background. That is awesome. If you didn't see yesterday's daily sickness video, check it out. The most epic and amazing unboxing that I've ever done on this show. Just amazing. So check out yesterday's video if you haven't checked it out. Absolutely just epic unboxing of just so much awesome stuff that a viewer sent me. See it. That is so cool. I love it. I love that's going to be behind me all the time now. So, alright. Headed out to Exton, Pennsylvania today. Went out to the Goodwill out there. I love that Goodwill. Lots of fun stuff to find. A lot of not so nice prices, but still definitely some interesting finds. I've gotten some amazing hauls out there. So, of course, I shot some video. So, let's go do some hunting. Well, alright guys. Here we are back at the Exton Goodwill. Big fan of this Goodwill. The pricing, not always the best, but they usually have an amazing selection. I think maybe because this is kind of a higher end area to live in, so perhaps that's the reason why they have so much stuff. I don't know, but look at everything. And oh my god, look at all these DVDs. So much stuff in there. A few Blu-rays thrown in as well, but mostly all DVDs here. And just tons of stuff in a complete mess. Remember that, by the way. Remember that was all a complete mess. Here are all the CDs, some games, there's some UMDs in there, there's some Blu-rays in there as well, and plenty more CDs. So I got my work cut out for me. Gonna dive into all this and see what they got. And right off the bat, came across some Return to Sleepaway Camp. Really cool. Don't come across that too often, but it was a rental copy and it was scratched. I do already have it. Would have grabbed it for a second copy, but like I said, it was scratched, so I passed. And then look at this. Some Lord of the Rings extended cuts on Blu-ray for $5 a piece. Definitely intrigued by those. I didn't have those two. And I even came across the third one here, but I do already have Return of the King, so I didn't need to grab that. But pretty cool to come across all three. Definitely interested in the first two. And Little Britain, season 1 and 2 for season 2 and 3 for $5. Looked like an interesting show. Probably would have grabbed it. You guys can let me know if you have any idea on what that show's about. But they were scratched, so I passed. And Joe Cartoon passed on that as well. I already have it. And it's the Easter Beagle. I do already have that, but I don't have the remastered deluxe edition. Would have grabbed it, but it was scratched, unfortunately. And this here would have been the coolest find, but unfortunately, scratched. But Speed Race of the movie, I've been trying to find that for the longest time on DVD. Totally bummed that was destroyed. That would have been the greatest find of just ever. That would have been so cool. And some Scholastic storybook here. Definitely had to pick that up in great shape. And a really cool subject matter as well. Definitely had to pick that up. And, ooh, The Tudor, Season 2. Brand new factory sealed for $7. Don't mind if I do. A show I haven't got into yet, but I do own Season 1. So definitely have to check that out. And a cool mummy find. I already have that set. In fact, I have the original set that has much better artwork. But didn't need it. But look at all the anime I came across. Tons and tons and tons. Most of this was in good condition. I'd say maybe 75% of it was scratch-free. Some of it was pretty badly scratched, but most of that was in great shape. Unfortunately, I didn't grab much of anything. And there you go, guys. This was the end result of me hunting. You guys may remember when I first walked in, everything was a complete mess. Well, I straightened everything up. Goodwill, they should have given me a discount because I made everything nice and pretty. I couldn't leave it a mess. So over to the CDs and Royal Crown Review. Awesome band, but, ooh, nasty. Not even a scratch. That's a split in the disc, so I had to pass on that. And what's this? More Kombat? I didn't know Mortal Kombat had a More Kombat CD, so I was definitely intrigued by that. Had to pick that up. And then I found a completely whole new table of CDs in the back, so yeah, I had to look through there. And of course, it paid off because I found some Pie Tasters. Awesome ska band. Very happy to grab that. In great shape. Very cool. Definitely glad I looked through this second table here. And of course, always having a dive into the bins in back. There were some media titles in here, some DVDs, VHS, CDs, but nothing I needed to grab. There's some Star Wars, very cool on VHS, but nothing I needed to pick up. But I did dig through there because you never know what you might find. But unfortunately, this time around, came up empty-handed. And then over to the electronics section. Hopefully nobody thought I was filming these children, but they were in my way. So some VCRs, and ooh, what's that down there? Could it possibly be? No, multi-disc CD changers. They always fool me. I always think they're Laserdisc players, but they were not. So pass on all that stuff. About 5 billion computer monitors, but nothing I needed to grab in electronics. So that was it. That was my trip out to the Exton, Pennsylvania Goodwill. Tons of awesome stuff. So let's take a look at what I picked up. Well, alright guys, there you go. That was my trip out to the Exton, Pennsylvania Goodwill. Definitely found some awesome stuff. Before I get down to everything I picked up, I do want to quickly talk about the anime. Some of you guys might be angry at me because I didn't pick up any of it. I let it all go. And I always get yelled at by so many of you guys, especially a lot of you anime collectors out there, because some of that stuff, a lot of the time, is out of print. $3 a piece probably seemed like a good deal, so some of you guys are probably gonna be angry I didn't grab some of this stuff. A lot of it was in good shape, maybe 70% good shape, 25% scratched, and I would have passed on anyway. But here's the thing, it would have came out to about $75 to grab everything I'm gonna show you, and then all the anime on top of that. I wasn't going to spend $75 at Goodwill today. Wasn't going to happen. I'm trying to be more frugal with my spendings. You guys may not have noticed it, but I assure you I haven't been going too crazy with picking stuff up. I've actually been a little picky. When I go to a store now, if I see something I'm not thrilled with the price, or I think maybe I can find it cheaper later on, or just, I don't feel like spending this amount, a huge amount of money at one time, I might put some stuff back. I might decide not to get some stuff. I've been doing that recently, and I decided to just pass on the anime. It was great. I mean, $3 a piece for that stuff, not a horrible deal, but would have came out to a lot of money, so unfortunately, I passed on it. Leave negative comments if you like. I'm sorry, but I passed. This Goodwill every now and then does have a $1 sale where they mark all their media down. I think except for Blu-rays and stuff like that, and they think they mark like games, DVDs, like single disc DVDs and single disc CDs. I think they mark them all down to like $1 a piece. So if I go out there again and they're doing their dollar sale, I will grab all that stuff. All that anime will be mine. But for right now, $3 a piece, I was just going to pass. So it is what it is. I'm sorry. They had an amazing selection of anime, but I had to just pass on. So anyway, down to what I actually picked up. So first, here are some CDs I grabbed. So this is cool. I found As I Lay Dying. Frail Words Collapse. Haven't heard of this one. I do know As I Lay Dying. Great band. Great kind of hardcore. Do I want to say screamo? Hard band. Very hard band, whatever you want to call it. I guess you would say hardcore punk rock or something like that. But good band. I do enjoy their music, and didn't have this CD. Haven't even heard it, so definitely had to pick that up. And then this was awesome. I didn't even know this existed. We have Mortal Kombat. More Kombat. This is cool. I already have Mortal Kombat, the soundtrack and the score. Then I have Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the soundtrack. And now I got Mortal Kombat, More Kombat. Had no idea this CD existed. So this is pretty cool. Just some more fun, I guess, electronic music that goes along with the movie. So pretty cool find. Definitely had to pick that up. And then this is great. I've come across a lot of this band recently, and that is Squirrel Nut Zippers. Invitable? Am I saying that correctly? Anyway, I can't read. So, Squirrel Nut Zippers. I enjoy this band, and for some reason I've been coming across a lot of them recently. Not a band that I would expect to ever come across their CDs like all the time. It's just it's a little bit more of an obscure band. I mean, they had their like one hit album, and then everything else is kind of like, why do I keep coming across this stuff? I guess they're more popular than I thought, but they're a good band. So, Squirrel Nut Zippers, definitely had to grab that. Very cool, kind of a modern jazz sort of thing going on. Kind of think like 20s-ish, but like modernized. Pretty cool. I like it. Then I grabbed, and this, I was almost mad about this. I picked up Yellow Card for, one for the kids. The reason I was almost mad about this is because it turns out I already own this. I didn't realize that. I thought I had like Ocean Avenue, and that was like the only Yellow Card album I owned. I didn't realize I had this. So I went to catalog it at cinemacyclist.com, went into my system where I catalog everything, and it already came up as me having it. I was like, oh no. So I checked. I did. But good news is the copy I have is scratched. Now, when it comes to CDs, I'm a lot more lenient on the scratches on CDs. I will buy CDs with scratches. Unlike DVDs or Blu-rays or any other disc, cinematic disc format, no scratches. Cannot have scratches. I'm a scratch-free zone. Not so much when it comes to CDs. I will let scratches slide. And although the scratches weren't bad and didn't cause any issues, it was scratched up to the point where it was definitely worthy of an upgrade. And this one here, completely scratch-free. So I was kind of mad, but for $2, I mean, scratch-free. I have a better copy of it now. That's good. And then this is really cool. Very excited about this. You guys saw there was a second table of CDs. Not much in the way of anything I wanted, except for one title I was pretty excited about, and that is The Pie Tasters, Willis. This is great ska band, which is funny that I say that because back in the day when ska was prevalent, like third wave ska was prevalent, I guess like mid '90s when the whole punk and ska like revival thing was going on, and I was really hard into this scene. I was a bit more picky about my ska music. I didn't like every ska band. Bands like Pie Tasters, I just kind of thought were okay. I didn't hate the Pie Tasters, but I wasn't a huge fan. Bands like Save Ferris, I was like, oh, I don't listen to bands like Save Ferris, and there's some other random bands too I didn't listen to. I listen to like all those bands now. And the reason is because I hate to say it, but ska's kind of, I don't want to say dead. There are still ska bands out there. I mean, there are new ska bands are forming. There are still bands from the time when I listened to ska that were still around, but ska is not what it was. Ska was huge for a little while. It's now not that anymore. In fact, I actually a couple years ago went to a tour called the Ska's Dead Tour with a bunch of ska bands on it. So kind of funny, but so back then I could be more picky. I didn't have to like every ska band because there were so many out there and just constantly popping up all over the place. That's not the case anymore. So now all those bands I might have like kind of shunned away from back in the day, I'm like big fans of now because it's like it's more ska, and I'm really starting to appreciate some of these bands. Like I love Save Ferris Down, Pie Tasters. I do enjoy their music, so it's kind of funny. Like many years ago, I would have been like, I don't know, maybe I'll pass on this. Nah, I had to jump on it now. So the Pie Tasters Willis, very cool. Some more ska for the collection, and ska is my all-time favorite genre of music, so that's great. All right, now on to the cinema for you guys. So this is really cool. For $5 a piece, grab the extended edition releases of Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. Very cool. I already have Return of the Kings. Return of the King? Not Kings. Return of the King, right? Why am I drawing a blank if it's pluralized or not? I don't know. But I already have that on Blu-ray, so I already had the extended edition of that. I didn't have the extended edition of these two, so that's really cool. I do technically own all the extended editions already on DVD, but I didn't have them on Blu-ray, so that's really awesome to have both of these. Very cool. I was pretty excited to find the facts. I saw all three there. Obviously didn't need to get the other one, but needed to get these two. $5 a piece. A little bit more than I would normally pay for Blu-rays at most of the Goodwills in my area. This Goodwill does charge a bit more sometimes. I mean, all their DVDs are like $3 a piece, and Blu-rays are $5. My local Goodwill would have had these marked at like $2 a piece, which would have been awesome, but what are you gonna do? So, very cool nevertheless. Nice to have all the extended edition releases of Lord of the Rings, which I just watched for the first time like last year. Not the movies. I've seen the movies like a dozen times, but the extended cuts, I only watched for the first time last year. But it's great to have these movies now on Blu-ray. Very cool. That was an awesome find right there. This is great. This is some Scholastic video collection with The Man Who Walked Between the Towers. This is cool since I just recently watched Man on Wire and The Walk. Again, Man on Wire was an absolutely fantastic documentary. Highly recommend it. The Walk, I just thought was kind of okay. I wasn't a huge fan of that movie, just very mediocre in my opinion. So pretty cool to come across this. That is absolutely awesome. I love these Scholastic. I said Scholastic Storybook Treasures before. Some of them are called that, and some of them are called Scholastic Video Collection. So this is a Scholastic Video Collection release. These are great. I said before, they kind of remind me of Reading Rainbow-ish in a bit. I love these for the animation. It's usually like kids' stories, but done to really cool animation. I'm a big fan of animation, and I mean, children's stories are great as well. So these are really cool. I have a bunch of these. I always pick these up when I come across them, and surprisingly in perfect shape. And I say that because a lot of times these are destroyed thanks to, little kids getting their hands on them, but this was in perfect shape. Had to grab it, although security stickers, gotta take them off, people. So very awesome find. That was this was actually $3, so yeah, like I said, a little bit more than usual. Then this is cool, the complete second season of The Tudors for only $7. Awesome find, and the reason why this is so cool is because it's brand new, factory sealed, never opened. That was awesome. I mean, who knows? Could have been scratched the hell had it been open, but it was factory sealed. I knew for $7 I was going to jump on this because I come across season 1 all the time. I see it all the time at Goodwills and pawn shops and flea markets and other thrift stores. I mean, every time I go somewhere, I like always come across the season 1 of The Tudors, which is great, but I already have it. I don't come across season 2 ever, so this was really cool. Really cool find. $7 for this, awesome deal. Had to pick that up. And then this, I was kind of surprised I don't have, and that is Watership Down. I'm really surprised I didn't have this one. Grabbed this on VHS for only 47 cents. I actually had to double check to make sure I didn't already own this on something. VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray. I was like, I could swear I have this movie already. Like, how do I not own this movie yet? I didn't have it. I do not own this movie, so pretty cool to have it. Yes, on VHS, but I'm perfectly fine owning stuff on VHS, at least for the time being, until I grab a like a DVD or a Blu-ray copy. So very, very cool. Definitely love the Criterion collection of this someday. Who knows? But very awesome, nevertheless. Watership Down, very cool. Great to have this finally in the collection, since I'm actually surprised I didn't already. So very awesome. And I didn't mention it. All these CDs were $2 a piece, so not a bad deal for all this stuff right here. So there you go, guys. Again, that was my trip out to the Exton, Pennsylvania Goodwill. A lot of cool stuff out there. There was plenty of other great stuff I came across. Unfortunately, some of it was scratched. I mean, that's Speed Racer, the movie DVD. My heart stopped when I saw that. I've been on the hunt for that. I have it on VHS, but I didn't have it on DVD, so I was pretty excited to come across that. And the disc, unfortunately, was destroyed. I know some of you guys are going to say, oh, you can like resurface some. I don't do that. I don't resurface anything. I know some of you guys swear by that. I don't do it. It's not... I need to have it originally in good condition. I'm just OCD like that. It's part of my collecting. I don't know. But unfortunately, it was destroyed, so I had to pass on that. And again, having to pass on all the anime kind of hurt to do that. To do that? I can't talk. Kind of hurt to do that. I would have loved to have grabbed all the anime, but just, you gotta do what you gotta do. I couldn't spend like $75 at Goodwill today. Just couldn't do it. No, I had to save my money and just say no. Can't go too crazy. I've been spending way too much recently. Can't do it. Let's just pick up the essentials. I'll grab the anime maybe at another time. Who knows? But anyway, a lot of good stuff out there. Definitely an awesome trip out there. I felt kind of bad because the wife and Simmons Jr. Wait around for a little while, because I literally looked through that entire shelving unit of DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. I mean, I looked through that whole thing. As you can see, I stacked everything else up nice and neat. I kind of felt like, well, it was a huge mess. And I'm like, I'm already going through it. So as I went through it, I just stacked everything up. Plus, it kind of made it easier, actually, to put it all away, because it was such a mess. It was hard to even, like, look through. So I just kind of grabbed stuff and just put it away as I grabbed it. That way, all the stuff that was put away nice and neat was the stuff I already looked at. Made it a lot more convenient. So made the display look much nicer for the next person to come in there and probably destroy it. But in the meantime, it looked nice, and it was easier for me to sort through everything, so I thought it was a good idea. But anyway, all right, guys, that is it. So like I always say, thank you guys so much for checking this video out. Be sure to hit that like button down below. Also, if you want to see a new video from me every single day, hit that subscribe button, and you're going to get one. And also, if you want to grab yourself a Cinema Sickness t-shirt, hoodie, tank top, buttons, hats, kids gear, all kinds of cool Cinema Sickness gear, head over to cinemasickness.spreadshirt.com, where you can get yourself some of that. And finally, if you want to show your support for new content and show your thanks and appreciation for these videos, head over to patreon.com/CinemaSickness, for every tiny little bit helps and is very much greatly appreciated. So again, that is it. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. In fact, welcome to, I almost forgot to say this, welcome to season, what are we on, is it season 22 now of CinemaSickness.com. It's the first day of summer, at least here in the United States. As I know, depending on where you're from, that can change. But at least here in the United States, it's the first day of summer, so season, I believe, I want to say 22. I don't think it's 20. I think it's 22 of CinemaSickness.com. So very awesome. Welcome to that. A whole new season of episodes, summer episodes. Very excited. Hopefully a lot more trips out to flea markets and other cool places like I'm drawing blanks now, yard sales and whatnot. All right, I'm going to go before my brain just shuts down. It's very, very, very late at night. I need to go to bed. So again, that is it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.